Carl Riley. Carl Riley, you there? What's up, everybody? Ryan in Sacktown here. Game day, Kings, Hornets. Malik Monk telling the G-Man yesterday, we need to get ours back. That being that W that the Hornets got at the G1C against the Kings earlier in the season. So we got you all set up to get up and going for this big game tonight against the Hornets. Can the Kings carry momentum from Detroit into Charlotte? We will see. I'm Ryan in Sacktown. This is the pregame show on If You Don't Like That.
3, 2, 1, go.
Sacramento miscue. Carter, stolen by Williams. And look at this. Oh, you don't like that. You don't like NBA basketball.
Fox, goodbye. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball. The exclamation point from De'Aaron Fox. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball.
Boy, that's an ESPN highlight right there. Whoa. Carlson comes in. How about this? Holy moly, Jim Bob Foley. That is a major league smush.
Having some internet issues. Are you guys there? Give me some quick chats if you guys are there. Hopefully you are. Sorry about that. Yeah, boom. That's right. Holy moly, Jim Bob Boley, Jerry Reynolds there at the end of the opening clip in the intro. He'll be here at halftime of the Kings and the Hornets tonight. Happy to have all you in here. You're here. Thank you. Appreciate that. Arvin, you're the man, dude. I've got all these open screens going on because, you know, as much as we'd like to think that the If You Don't Like That studios are these spacious 2 or 3 floor studios that got these beautiful green rooms. Yeah, you know, I'm kind of a one-man show right now. This is how you earn your stripes. You run a one-man show. So I am doing my best here. So hang in there. But Kings and Hornets tonight. Let's get to a quick tail of the tape before we go to your comments, which I am very much looking forward to. This is going to be courtesy of The Athletic. This is a Hornets team this Kings team just recently saw. I mean, so we know what this team's going to be in for tonight when it comes to this Hornets team. And this Kings team, if they can bring over what they did last night, over 80 points in the paint, those are winning in the playoff numbers when you got 80 points in the paint. They gave Domas some room to operate. Domas had some nice matchups, and look what happens. I mean, Domas, you want to talk about some rare company right now. His statistics will just blow you away. You think about some of the stuff that he's done with his double-double run, but just to think about what he's done in terms of triple-doubles in his time in Sacramento, it's just hard to ignore. So can Domas do the same tonight for the Sacramento Kings? We will see coming up here in a little bit. Reminder again, Jerry Reynolds here at halftime. And then I will be here post-game with Grant to wrap the night up and hopefully talk about another Kings win. Just going back to Domas really quick. Through 35 games this season, think about this for a second. He's averaging 19.7 points, 12.8 rebounds, and 7.6 assists per game. The only other players in the Basketball Reference database also on that list. Why don't you guys take some guess? Who do you guys think those are? I know an obvious one, Jokic, right? Oscar Robertson, Wilt Chamberlain, Nikola Jokic, Domas Sabonis. So for Sacramento, they have a healthy roster tonight. For Charlotte, there are the updates for them on PJ Washington and Martin. And look, we go through these numbers every single game for Sacramento, but I look at the numbers that Sac put up in the last 3 quarters against the Pistons, and I'm really encouraged. That felt like a Sacramento team that wanted to be there. That felt like a Sacramento team that was on a road trip to Detroit last year. And as I started the pregame show last show, saying it was going to be the Kings versus the Kings in Detroit, that's exactly what it was. Detroit hit some threes. That was about it. So let's see. I knew this was coming. This guy, yeah, I know. Yeah, we could talk about it around the water hole. How's that, buddy? Sound good, horse? Carf, first back-to-back win. Let's go. Yes, this would be the first. We can throw those numbers up too here in a little bit. Kings, the numbers were better last game. They won their first second night of a back-to-back. Look for that to continue. Thanks, man. I feel like this is one of the better Kings hats that has come out in a really long time. And I don't associate this color with that golden ugly color that the Kings wore. I just remember Kevin Martin in these ugly mustard, just gold velour jerseys. Like, it's during the days of like Sean John and Little John and all those guys. Oh man, good times. Latest Kings merch. I try, Andrew. I gotta keep it nice for you guys. You know this. It's payback time for the Hornets. Rich says, carry over last night's third quarter energy. Yeah, Malik Monk, interesting. He was on with Gary Gerald after the game. And, the question that we've talked about, I've been a heavy proponent of asking this question. What's the missing element of this Kings team? What's the missing ingredient, right? Gary, he asked a very similar question to Malik. Malik's retort was interesting. Malik came back and said, look, you don't always know what guys are going through off the court. To paraphrase, basically, we're humans. Don't assume everything's happy in our worlds. Things happen. Grant and I talk about this all the time, right? I mean, we're all humans too. We go to work. This is work for them. Granted, they get to do something that most of us see as something that's play, right? A recreation, a love, right? It's a business to them. But anyways, to the point, Malik also talked about going back to the film and watching the third quarters Rich is talking about, and seeing what this team did. And again, against the Pistons, you have to caveat it there, but any defense from this Sacramento team is good defense. I think you guys definitely agree. Your handle fits you. Why is that? Interesting. I want to know more, Rich. I meant fourth quarter energy. It was second, third, and fourth. That's when they brought it. Kings break back curse tonight. Andrew, we sure hope so. Bad news. Bad news, Sour Grapes 916. Do you think Bad News Sour Grapes 916 is like an undercover, like, optimist, just a really positive person? I don't know. I don't think that handle is really you in a nutshell. But he thinks they think it is a Hornets win or a Hornets easy win tonight. Kings don't do back-to-backs. Fair. They've only done one this season. They haven't won both nights on a back-to-back, but they've won the back end of a back-to-back. Kings, Hornets tonight. Kings healthy and ready to go. The question to be answered, do the Kings come out tonight with the same effort, with the same attention to detail, with the same mindset to attack this New Orleans Hornets team? Are the three balls added on top to what the Kings have planned for the Hornets. We'll see. Certainly, we saw last night, give Domas space. Domas will get it done. Haunted horse. It's not a bad idea though. I'm gonna leave it at that. And you guys, there's always a show within the show with you guys. It's great. I absolutely love it. You guys talking about a lot of the news of the day. Carf trade deadline fast approaching. You think McNair will pull the trigger on a trade with New Jersey, Bulls, or Blazers? New Jersey? You mean Brooklyn? Let's see. So Bulls, Blazers. I don't think so. I don't know. We're in the infancy of this thing. The latest reports, as reported on ESPN 1320 with James Ham, he's saying and this is through another anchor at 1320. Siakam did not want to come to Sacramento. The deal was centered around Barnes, centered around Kevin Huerter. And surprising thing, Kevin Huerter, still a lot of GMs think that whatever's going on can be fixed. A lot of GMs think they have the answer to what's going on with Kevin Huerter. Interesting. How's that affect his value? Same with Davion Mitchell. They feel like he is a square peg with a round hole. So what happens with him? So that was really how the deal kind of fell apart. But getting back to this trade deadline, it's at its infancy. What's going to happen? Ja Morant, he's out the rest of the season. Steven Adams for that Memphis team already out for the season. Does Memphis blow it up? Does Memphis decide, look, you know what? Jaren Jackson Jr., yeah, we'll put him on the market. Desmond Bane, yeah, we want to get better. We'll put him out there. Marcus Smart, we'll make him available. Could that happen? Kawhi Leonard signs a record extension with the Clippers. And if you're just joining, by the way, I'm Ryan in Sacktown. This is If You Don't Like That pregame show for the Kings and the Hornets. Please give me a thumbs up if you like the programming. Subscribe if you haven't already. The one and only Jerry Reynolds right here. Halftime, breaking down the first half tonight. Kings, Hornets. Grant and I have post game on If You Don't Like That. But anyways, so Kawhi Leonard, record extension. So questions coming into the season. Will this Clippers experiment work, right? Well, Kawhi Leonard, he's sticking around. What's going to happen to Paul George? Is Paul George going to be next? Okay. Could he become available? So I haven't heard anything on any of these things. The point I'm trying to make is it's early in the early in the season for the trade deadline. We still got almost just under a month to go. So do I think Monty will pull the trigger? Yes. Now, will that be on a fringe piece, or will that be on will that be on your Aaron Gordon that takes you over the top to a championship? That still to be decided. Let's see. Bad news is getting some hate. It's simple. The Hornets are very bad. 8-26, kind of bad. Good point. Let's see. Adams got some juju tonight. I've got some good juju. Chiropractor cracked my back. I'm feeling ready to sit on my couch for 3 hours and watch If You Don't Like That when the Kings aren't playing. Great. Love it, Adam. Thanks, man. Let's see. Why doesn't Siakam want to come here? Walt, my man, you know you're my guy. It's the age-old thing with free agents. And I know Siakam's not a free agent, so keyboard warriors, put your fingers down. I know you want to be the first one to say, right, no, he's not a free agent. He plays for the Raptors. Right? No. Siakam doesn't want to come. That Chris Webber didn't want to come, right? It's the age old thing, and I don't know if this is why the matchup with the Kings and the Raptors was such a big deal with this looming trade about Siakam coming to Sacramento. Was it a visit, right? Was it let's call it college? Was it a recruiting visit? Both teams had their full front offices there. So something had to come out of it. And Siakam apparently Sacramento's not for him. But everybody that is a true Sacramento Kings fan that is watching this right now knows that Siakam will spend 1 week if he came to Sacramento. 1 week here in Sacramento. And he will know quickly this is the place he wants to be. And I don't want to compare Sacramento to Toronto. Toronto, a bigger city than Sacramento, or considered to be one of the larger cities. I don't have the statistics in front of me. But they're still small. I know they won a title. They still feel small market. They don't always seem like they are players. And credit to them. They were players with Kawhi Leonard, right? But they don't seem like big players in the free agent market. So to a degree, Siakam, I think, feels like he lives in a little bit of a small market because Canada is not America. And I'm not saying Canada's bad, but it's not America. So anyways, let's get to some more comments. Some people don't want Siakam. Scott says, I don't want to sign him long term anyways. Well, these guys are going to try to get their money. Baki probably hasn't slept since yesterday, back to back, but on the road only now counts, folks. Yo, Rhino, what up? Dubro Otro, buddy. How you doing? Adam, yeah, Siakam trade makes me nervous. Just go get Ben Simmons, please. Walt. We're not going to get Ben Simmons. I'm either drinking 2 beers or 12 beers tonight, depending on how the Kings play. All right, Ibon. It depends on the beers, though, man. If you think they're going to play good, go with a nice IPA, man, and you enjoy the heck out of those 2 beers. You think they're going to go bad? You better get something that goes down easy. I guess everybody has their choice when it comes to that. Some people like the Stones. Some people like PBR. So let's see. Ryan, this team is simply not it. Okay, Alberto, who said this team was it? Lyles is an asset to this team. Indeed, he's a huge asset to this team. Sacramento's small market players want to live in cities with a major market, preferably a coastal city. But so, Alberto, it depends on the player, right? And what's going on with the player. I mean, and you hear about this all the time. I think some of the other local guys were talking about this morning about players and this time of year and being nervous about having to move and how a move for a Kevin Huerter that, doesn't have a family and kids in school is much easier for a guy like Harrison Barnes, right? So there's always those conversations, but with Sacramento, this market, you know how it is. People fall in love with it. Let's just put it that way, Alberto. People fall in love with this market. So, and this city, they're trying to do better. If the Kings can catch a free agent with a family, maybe they're in business. Let's meet in the middle there, right, Alberto? But I don't want to group people without families. Maybe they get stuck to cities too. I don't think Siakam cares about the city. Just doesn't seem like a guy who needs to be seen all the time. Maybe I'm wrong. Sure, that could be a good point. But isn't this a good city for not being seen? Think about it, you guys. How many times did you see DeMarcus Cousins out and about? How many times do you see Foxy out and about right now? How many times do you see those guys? Keegan Murray, they can blend in if they want to. I mean, granted, a lot of them like the golf course. But I think for Siakam, it's not the city. I agree, because people fall in love with this city. I don't think it's him wanting to stay out of the exposure, stay out of the limelight. I don't think Siakam likes the style of basketball the Kings play necessarily. If I had to look at the way the Raptors play basketball versus the way the Kings play basketball, I think Siakam might have some concerns. I would. That's fair. Riley, do you think Fox needs a night off? This has been going around a little bit. I don't. Look, he carried the load last year. I think that it's important for guys to play through little things like this, because when you get to those later games in the seasons that determine whether you're going to make the playoffs, you're likely going to have a lot of the same bumps and bruises, the same soreness. So I would like to see him play. And just with, or at least until this team makes some type of lineup change that addresses the 2-guard, or brings in a veteran point guard that can run the offense sufficiently while Fox is out, then until that time, I think you still want Foxy in the lineup. A lot of comments about Siakam, and fairly so. And guys, look, maybe the Kings are dodging a huge bullet with Siakam. And you could say, Ryan, you could make that argument about any trade. You're absolutely right. But this is a max guy. He is going to want big money. So you're basically saying this is the piece. And I think that's why Kings fans are so divided. And that's, to be fair, that's Kings fans that still have fair expectations of this team. I think those ones are still even divided on this trade, and the direction it would take the team possibly. And how, here's another question, does it affect Keegan Murray? I mean, Keegan would have to slide to the 3, which many think is his natural position. So maybe it's a good thing. But look, that's why there's this. We can talk about Siakam, other trades all day long. And we'll get one more in from Albert. He's not crazy about Pascal. So anyways, Kings. Oh, I didn't mean to put this up, but I will again. I think other options should definitely be considered. I agree with you, Alberto. But plenty of time before the trade deadline for Monty McNair to make those decisions along with the rest of the Kings front office. But Kings and Hornets tonight. Kings look to make it their first successful back-to-back, coming off a big win last night in Detroit. Big night for Domantas Sabonis. Another slow night for De'Aaron Fox. Should be interesting to see if De'Aaron gets back on track and really comes out of the gate ready to go for the Sacramento Kings. Costa Koufos. Interesting. We need a Costa Koufos back. He's the missing piece. I don't think so, Ben, but I see what you're saying. Would you trade Barnes for a top 5 protected first, or a top 5 protected first for Kuzma? Now, Kuzma is the more interesting of the pieces, and Costa is still getting a lot of love. Kuzma is the more interesting of the talks to me, between him and Siakam. Kuzma could fit in very well with this Kings team, but I could also see Kuzma getting very frustrated with this Kings team. Kuzma's contract is a little more friendly. It is more friendly than Siakam. So I think, guys, I'll end it at this. Well, we will stop the trade talk after I say this name. And I agree with you, BJ Sal 916. Concerned a lot about the inconsistencies pertaining to levels of competition. 100%. So with that in mind, we know any trade may not change who this team is, or if this team goes further, if this team remains on track with their expectations. But If I was sitting here writing a Hollywood script for this team this season, if I'm sitting here writing the script for the Kings, and my name's Monty McNair, and I get to make the decision, it's not a championship this year, but this is a player that will take me to a championship because he fits in perfectly with what the Kings do offensively. He fits in perfectly with the way that Domas wants the floor spread, and he fits in perfectly pace size-wise. His name, Lauri Markkanen. That's what I'm putting in my script. If Monty McNair can pull that off. Best case scenario. But for now, let's talk what matters. Kings, Pelicans. Kings, Hornets tonight. Kings dedicated, motivated, ready to get a win. They realize they need to get one back from the Hornets after losing at the G1C to them recently. Kings, everybody a full go. Anyways, enjoy the first half. Do not forget, right here at halftime, get your questions ready. Jerry Reynolds, he will be joining Grant, and then we will wrap up the game, Grant and I, afterwards on If You Don't Like That. And by the way, we've been getting you involved in the questions and involved in the show, so we will likely be sending out a link again tonight. So we would love you guys to participate, guys and gals. If you would like to come and have a few moments, ask a question, have a debate, whatever it may be. And also, before we sneak out the back door to the main event, we're certainly talking about the Kings there. Before we slip out, let me tell you about Bennett's West Side Grill. That's their newest location in the Blue Oaks Town Center. Don't forget about their Roseville location and also a location off of Howe and Fair Oaks. I was talking to Brian the other day, and he was so grateful for all of you that have been coming into Bennett's, all of the support. He was talking about, or Grant was sharing the story from Brian about the fan that drove or came 2,600 miles away and dined at Bennett's. But anyways, Brian wants to thank you. And Brian also wants me to remind you about their weekend brunch special. Bubbles and brunch. Yeah, that's right. Bubbles and brunch. $44 gets you a full bottle of Cava, your choice of juice, and 2 entrees. I'm pretty sure you can't get the hot cake breakfast at McDonald's for that price. So go check out Bennett's for brunch. All of their locations are set up on the weekends for brunch. Beautiful patios out in Roseville and Rockland as well. So go check out Bennett'sRestaurants.com for more information. But seriously, if I enjoyed an adult beverage every now and again, I would absolutely be all over that special. So anyways, thank you to Brian. Thank you to Bennett. Thank you to all of you. We will see you here in not a few minutes, about an hour before halftime. Remember, Jerry Reynolds right here.